chair. I can't believe Amazon delivers stuff into caves these days, but I mean, it's not the greatest things, but I got myself a little setup here. Let me see if I still know how this stuff works. It's so bright. Imbalance complaint form. I have a vague memory of doing this in the past. Headset, microphone, imbalance complaint form. Let's go. He had 59 queens. 59. Queens are OP. They make units. They attack air. They attack ground. They heal stuff. They make everything else faster. Infestors are invisible when burrowed and steal your units. Triple exclamation mark. The most Imba Zerg composition for the most Imba race. Zerg is the most Imba race, combined with Mass Queens and Infestor. This is the most broken composition. Name, Simply Yellow, Race, Protoss, League, Diamond on the NA server. And guess what, guys? I have this replay. It was attached with the email. Let's hop straight into it. Oh, that's too many times speed. So we have in the bottom left our main man, yellow pink. He says queens are too strong. His opponent built 59 queens. 59. So a 59 queen army with infestors. That doesn't sound all too bad. Queens attack air, they heal everything. The infestors, they take over your opponent's army. Infestors are only 2 supply each, but they can take over a 6 supply army. You add all of these facts together, this sounds pretty freaking broken. Hamster, end it, end the show. Back to sleep, put the big Imba stamp on it. Queens are completely broken. Boom. Congratulations. No, just kidding, guys. What the hell? We're gonna watch this replay. I'm gonna watch this replay, and we're gonna figure out exactly what went wrong here for yellow-pink, whether this game is actually imbalanced, or if perhaps there was something that he could have done better. I know it sounds unlikely as getting an espresso machine ordered to your cave, but some good cave coffee right there, my friends. That's some good cave coffee. We have yellow-pink moving up first probe. It's gonna go for a cheeky scout, see what his opponent is up to. His opponent is not up to much, you know? We have a barcode. I always love seeing barcodes at diamond level. It's like no one even knows your real name, and here you are playing under a barcode. Like, what is the point? Actually, what is the point of barcoding when you're diamond? It's like trying to hide the fact that you're floating 500 minerals at the 3-minute mark. Like, let's be real, my friend. No one cares, okay? The other guy probably doesn't even know how to upload a replay yet, or how to open a replay yet. So it's not like they're gonna be capable of, actually seeing what you did wrong. All right, so he pops in his head. He's like, I've seen everything I need to see. I've seen the hatchery. I've seen that there's a pool and a gas, and now it's time to get back home. Now, ideally, you also check the timing of the links popping out. You want to see if there's a third base with your probe. But honestly, these are all other details. He just wants to figure out, hey, am I being 12 pooled or 16 pooled? And my cave keyboard has the keys falling off. Nice. And then he just wants to go home with his probe. Okay, that's it. And that's fair. It's completely fair. This is a fine way to do it. Sure, you don't get as much information, but you get the most important information. And part of that information is, hey, am I going to die in the next 3 seconds? And the answer here was no. So, I don't mind this. Going to go for a robo here, yellow-pink. Very rare to see robotics facilities being played in this matchup. Usually it's all Stargate at the high level, but not today. So we're seeing a robotics facility come out. We have yellow-pink going to be taking a third base here as well. So it's all looking pretty tight. It's all looking pretty solid here. I do like that. I do really like that. This Overlord's going to get taken out, or at least going to be attacked a little bit. It's going to hide. I don't think you can see it on top of this dome, right? I once read a book by Stephen King called Under the Dome. Fantastic first 700 pages. Then like page 700, he introduces some aliens or something like that. It's like, well, I wasn't into that, Stephen. Send him an email, but he never replied. It's a little bit like Stan, but didn't drive off a bridge, so slightly different. Immortal, Sentry, Stalker. I mean, this is a build order, I guess. He's up 3 workers as well somehow. I'm not quite sure how that happened. He also said something in the imbalance ticket, by the way. I want to come back. He said queens produce units. That's not quite true. Queens produce larvae, and the larvae produce units. Okay, it's an added macro mechanic. I think that's the one thing you shouldn't complain about, because if they wouldn't have that, there would just be extra larvae spawning automatically. So we wouldn't want to make the game easier for Zerg. So whenever people complain about the queen, I never tell them to complain about the injectability, because they still need those larvae. So either they will need to manually inject it, or the hatchery automatically does it. And then in that case, I'd rather have them have to manually do it, you know? So this guy's actually using his queens pretty well, spreading some creep already. For the level that we're on, I like these first 3 tumors, I guess, the 2 active tumors. But this is looking pretty solid. It's a good Roach Warren timing as well. And maybe a little bit late for the fact that there is no Stargate unit. He sees double sentry. I think he pretty much knows what's up now, right? It's going to be a 2-base immortal push. Like, yeah, everything. This just smells immortal push. Like, this is 100% going to be an immortal push. So he's getting a spine crawler. He's going to get more queens, which actually is a good answer. I do like that. He already has 6, but he's going to get at least 1 more. I wouldn't mind if he gets a second one as well. So this Zerg player is, he's scouting things. He's responding to his opponent. He sacrificed a couple of links, saw what his opponent's doing, tried to even sacrifice the Overlord. And he's building spines now. He's like, okay, all I need to do is just survive. I'm up a base. I'm going to be up a couple of workers. Like, what is the worst thing that can happen? Does he have speed? He has speed. I wouldn't mind if he keeps a Ling over here on the 3rd base, though. And just another Ling to see, hey, is my opponent moving out yet? The Evo Chamber, I'm not a massive fan of either. But, you can't have it all. Spork Crawler also confuses me. Okay, so our Protoss player is actually completely setting up here for an Immortal push. Should be building a Prism as well already, which he is not doing yet. Oh, there we go. Prism. This is what, 8 gate, 7 gate? 7 gate, 7 gate immortal push. I used to do this build a lot back in 2018, except I would have already been attacking at this point. I probably had collected the big fat dub, but yellow-pink takes a little bit slower, and that's okay, of course. I mean, at this level, that's normal. We do see 2 more queens on the way. I'm starting to see where the issue is. We're now at 9 queens total. Okay. Creep spread's not looking too healthy yet. He's getting a battery, so when he moves out, he can't get counterattacked. His opponent is building roaches. Okay, he's getting stalkers. No, I wouldn't mind seeing. There we go. Finally, we get the move out. So my man Yellow-Pink starts moving out across the map, and hopefully we'll be able to deal a little bit of damage. We'll see if it actually ends up working like that. Man, this Zerg is really not playing poorly. Look at this. He has like the run-by stuff ready. Look at that. He's going to go for the stalker here. But there's a battery, so actually well taken care of. Both of these guys having some nice moves, anticipating what their opponent is doing. I actually think that this has a decent chance of working. There's 3 Immortals against 9 Roaches. Can we get a force field, perhaps? No force field? Okay, no force field. 2, 3, 5. Some force fields, I guess. I'm not quite sure what happened in this fight, but he lost all of his sentries and got absolutely nothing done. I want to see this fight again. What was he attacking? I feel like he just killed the rocks or something. This was a very confusing fight for me. Okay. So, first of all, I would suggest taking out these rocks. So you have a little bit more space for your army to maneuver towards. Then, if you look, whenever you have this type of scenario, you want to look at the areas where you can force field. Okay, and this looks like an area with potential. This was 1, 2, 3, 4 force fields or so. Okay, so you position your army here and you force field it off. You can take out the spine crawler. Instead, what we're seeing here is, so he's just. He eats a bile completely, then he force fields, but doesn't actually use his force fields at all. He loses all of his sentries, or almost all of his sentries, and kills a single roach. I think he killed a roach and 8 lings and lost like 5 sentries. His immortals aren't attacking half the time, and when they're attacking, they're always attacking lings. So his opponent just has a perfect ult. Don't forget, our opponent scouted everything, stopped droning at the exact correct amount, and actually micro this unit. He threw down biles, he transfused, he used the links for a flank. This guy lost the prism as well. Okay, this game is just over. He completely butchered a 2-base all-in. He did it on a map where it's not even good, and then he also butchered the micro. Completely. He's down 10 workers, his opponent has good creep spread, is up a base, has 12 more workers or 10 more workers or something like that. This game just ended, okay? This is actually game over. This is it. This is just it. It's gonna get a nexus. This is like the type of expand I do as well, but I usually do it when I'm winning. So if you're 2 base, this is a quick tip. This is a quick tip for you guys at home there. Are you tired of every other race calling you a 2 base all-inner or a dirty Protoss cheeser? I am very tired of that personally. So what I do is whenever I'm all-inning my opponent, I always make sure that when I think he's about to leave the game, I build 2 Nexi at the same time. So when they look, they open, like they press the rewind button and they see like 4 dots on the menu. It's like, oh, it was a 4 base all-in. That's weird that I lost to that. I only had 3 bases. I bet his macro must have been amazing. Quick tip for you guys, okay? Very smart. Back into the game. 3rd base, he's doing it the other way around. As he's losing, he's pretending that he was playing a macro game. I like doing that as well. I can't believe I lost another macro game against Zerg. That you added into your massive file you have of lost macro games against Zerg. Then whenever there's a balance argument going on, you pull out the big document with timestamps. It always works very well. I have a lot of Zerg friends still left over. About 2. Nexus on the 3rd base. He's going lair. Now I'm loving the scouting that's going on right now from Yellow-Pink. Yellow-Pink attacked about a minute and a half ago, and ever since then decided to completely give up on scouting and just blindly start fighting the units that he saw last, okay? Now, this is actually brilliant, because what other information do we have except what we saw last? Well, we could maybe scout or for buildings, or we could check what's popping out of the larva, or we could look for the army. Very often you can scout through aggression. So you send in like 2 adepts from this side, you try to kill 4 workers or so, and at the same time, whatever unit shows their face to you, you'll know that these are being built. Right now, it's actually funny because the Protoss is countering the correct units, but that's just purely by luck. He could have been countering the completely wrong units. Like right now he's thinking, oh, I saw roaches last. He's probably just going to keep building roaches, which he could have thrown down a spire like a minute ago and been on 8 gas, and there would be 12 Mutas flying into your base in about 3 seconds. And at that point, you would have had 8 Stalkers without blink, 2 Immortals, Storm, Thermal Lance, and a Colossi on the way, which is fantastic. This is kind of like if you're a government and there's been some natural disasters, okay? So you're an island and you're surrounded by water, which is inherent to most islands. You're surrounded by water, okay? And you've been struggling with floods, okay? But you're also on one of these things where a lot of earthquake happens, except you've never experienced an earthquake yet. Now, if you're a government and you've only dealt with floods yet, it makes sense to invest in something that can deal with the floods. So dikes, or you rent Dutch people to hold back the water with their tall hats or something like that. I don't know what you do against water, but I know that people like to hire Dutch people to deal with it because they're tall. However, there's still a possibility that there's going to be an earthquake. So as a government, you need to anticipate that. And it's the same thing in StarCraft 2 here. We need to anticipate the earthquake that Mutas could cause in our Protoss society. Our friend is not doing that. Hell, he's not even researching if there's a possibility of earthquakes. He's la 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 la, he's gonna flood, the water's gonna flood. He's like, I'm an island. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Well, it can be pretty bad, my friend. So always make sure that you know what are the incoming natural disasters, like what could be happening soon. And that is not just looking at the past, but also trying to research what's about to happen into the future. Just because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it won't happen. So for example, if you have a national pandemic emergency response team and you decide to defund that in 2017 and then a massive pandemic breaks out in 2020, yeah, that would be extremely unfortunate. That's bad governmental decision making. But here, luckily, it works out well. This is like taking out some type of pandemic team and then realizing that there's never going to be a pandemic in the term that you're sitting as a president. And you'd be pretty freaking lucky if that happens. And this cave coffee is ridiculously good. Amazon really delivers everywhere these days. 2 more Immortals, because with all the information that we have, that seems like a great call. For all this guy knows, our opponent is still on a single gas, and really he can only build links. So Colossi Immortal sounds like a brilliant plan. This guy's really spreading some creep. I feel like after that first attack, not much has happened. Sometimes I look at these games and I think, you know how StarCraft is always kind of lauded as one of these difficult games, like a true test of skill and a high level and difficult and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. And maybe sometimes that isn't just for everyone, Perhaps Yellow Pink would be more suited to play something like SimCity, or The Sims. Just a game where it's more relaxing. You're playing against a computer opponent rather than against an actual opponent, someone that might fight back. Just play a game that is just more relaxing, where you can just build up bases, you can do things. There are some natural disasters happening, but if it doesn't go well, you just go back to an older save file. Because honestly, this just doesn't seem to be your speed, if you know what I'm saying. Like if you just like building things, it's okay to play Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's fine to try to build a zoo in Zoo Tycoon, okay? To create an alternative life in Sims 4 or Sims 5, whatever is the most recent Sims with the Dream Night expansion. This is one thing that always pissed me off with Sims. You had a stupid game and then Sims 2 has like 17 different expansions. And of course you weren't one of the cool kids if you didn't have all 17 of them. So as a kid I really blasted LimeWire with Sim expansion packs downloads. I mean, I bought all of my Sim expansion packs in the local game store. Using LimeWire to download LimeWire Pro really was a flex. I remember that. Those were the legendary days. Oh, I miss that. I really do miss that. I wish LimeWire was still around. Really killed it off. The scouting, like I said, still has been brilliant. Really, he doesn't even know if this gas finished or not. Theoretically, the barcode Zerg could still be on 0 gas, and it was a fake gas. He has no clue. The only reason he knows is because he saw a couple of roaches, okay? This is brilliant. There's a spire. Imagine if 5 Broodlords could show up right now. What would our hero do? He has 8 Stalkers with Blink. He hasn't actually seen his opponent's army. His opponent's army, look at the amount of stuff he has and the amount of Ravages he built. I think he mined probably somewhere around 3,200 gas since the last time that Yellow Pink saw this army. That could have been like legit 33 Mutas or like 10, 12 Broodlords. Or just Balings in your mineral line, and because you don't have nothing in the wall, you lose all your workers. This is a great army split. I love this. Just making sure that you cover both paths. Smart. Okay? This is a brilliant engagement. Couple of Biles hitting everything that they could have hit. I mean, the army is just massive though, and I actually think the Zerg is pretty dead here. So what you do is you throw a couple of storms. You try to not eat every bile possible. Do you ever play these games, like, where you had to dodge things? It's like these games you had on the Wii or something like that. There initially was a thing where it was like a webcam, and you could like dodge things. Like, I can't remember if it was the Wii or slash things, whatever. It's similar here, except Yellow Pink, instead of dodging everything, in this case the Biles, he just catches everything, just with his head, He'd be a great game to play Dodge the Ninja Star with. I think you'd have a quick trip to the hospital if you'd played it with him, because he's just catching everything that hurts him. I think he actually ate every single bile that's possible. Look at this. He really is maximizing the damage output. Oh! That was 2 missed ones. 3 missed biles we've seen out of 136 biles thrown so far. He managed to eat almost all of them. He was going for the triple whammy bonus score. Oh, a couple more. Yep, walk the Immortals in. Maybe also lose your Templars to these next biles, maybe. So you can't storm anymore. How is this possible? He actually is hitting everything. Okay, you just store... I love that he move commanded a little more to maximize the potential of his opponent's army. I can't believe he lost that army against this army. He had terrible upgrades as well, actually. Holy crap. So what has he been doing? He's just been building 12 gateways? I mean, he isn't even really spending his money. He also wasn't controlling his army. I hate doing this, but I'm just so curious. He does this really slow. Just sitting, looking at things. What is he looking at? Wait, what did you just chrono boost his Nexus? Oh no, wait, it chrono boosted the Forge. Couple of Stargates. More probes, okay. Oh man. This speed, this type of stuff makes you fall asleep at night. And waiting for the next action, you know? You might just fall asleep in between. It's like watching the Super Bowl, but instead of not doing any actions, it's commercials rather than actual action. Classic Super Bowl. This is a great run by as well. He's gonna get every single probe, isn't he? Oh yeah, he's gonna get every single probe. By the way, wasn't the complaint about infestors and queens? He's at 8 queens so far. And lost 3. That's 11. What did he say? 57? 59? 59 queens. 59 divided by 11, that's 5.3. He was off by a ratio of 5.3. I bet if this guy says that he has a 12-incher, you're gonna be real disappointed. Yeah, don't, trust me, babe, it's massive. Oh no, poor guy. Poor yellow pig. Look at this guy. He doesn't know how to do basic math. No basic calculations here, my friends. He's getting +2 though. I mean, he's allowed to. He only has a 4K, 2K bank. So he didn't even lose to queens. Does the other guy even research neural parasite? Did he even build an infestor? Maybe he sent the wrong replay? And he was pretty proud of this. Is it possible that he sent the wrong replay? It is possible that he sent the incorrect replay. "19 lurkers? I mean, this looks more like a lurker complainer, but, to me, you know? What truly is the point here? It doesn't even burrow the lurkers. That's gotta be triggering. See, the other guy doesn't have a hotkey for a lurker burrow. I mean, doesn't he just walk in and kill everything? His map vision has been fantastic as well, by the way. Look at that. He's really seeing everything that he can. He has creep tumors pushing into his 5th base. He has no clue that there's an army waiting for him. What's the response here? I actually wonder what you do. I think you just attack the other guy. Like, this position, you're not going to win it anymore. You know, you just kind of give up at library. You send your Templar over here, you attack with your army to the other side of the map. He's building carriers now, he's getting +1 upgrades for them. I mean, you're going to need, what is this, 3-3? Yeah, 3-3. You're going to need, like, better upgrades on carriers, at least +2, in order to do any type of damage. This Zerg didn't play poorly, though. He was taking nice position. Look at his creep threat, guys. That's so crazy. Yeah, okay, I'm no expert at this game. No, actually, I am an expert at this game, and this fight is not going to be it for the toss. Yeah, it's a big surprise there. Attacking into like a ramped position with 19 lurkers, and there's still stalkers in your army, that's usually not going to be it. You're either going to need disruptors or corruptors, or carriers, or like Tempest or something. Like either like air units, so the lurkers can shoot you, or you're going to need disruptors, or you're not going to break this type of army. It's just simply not possible, guys. It's simply not possible. So now he's down 80 supply. He sees it. He sees everything. He has absolutely no clue what's happening in this game. His opponent is on 6 bases. Maybe he thinks lurkers are queens. And it's like a transformation of the queen. I hadn't even considered it. Maybe he doesn't know how lurkers are made. Like he also still believes that the stork brings the babies. And it does, by the way. It does bring the stork. 8 lurkers? Maybe he thinks every range unit in the Zerg army comes from the queen, and it's like a morph like the Baneling. So if you want a Hydra, you just morph a queen, like you feed it 50 gas or something. You inject the gas into the queen, it turns into a Hydra. And then you give it 50 more gas, it turns into a lurker. So every unit is really a queen. Is that what happened there? Okay, let's do some counting, okay? The roach doesn't come from the queen, okay? 4 hydras, 11 lurkers, and 3 queens have died. So that's 4 plus 11 is 15, it's 18. Then there's 8 more queens, 26. 29 plus 26 is 55. And then 8 lurkers. That is 58. He said 59. I think we figured it out. He actually thinks every ranged unit. He thinks every ranged unit is a queen. If the game ends now, this would be it. He just miscounted by 1. Or I miscounted by 1. Every ground range unit is a queen. This is brilliant. This was a swing and a hit. This happens rarely, where I actually figured out. He just doesn't know how Zerg works. Does he think that overlords morph into vipers? I'm gonna get an email next week complaining about overlords. He had 700 overlords. How does he think links are made? I'm so curious now. I am so extremely curious. This game is gonna end, and I'm gonna be right with my 58. My theory worked out. Maybe it's drones. Links turn into melee units. That's it. 10, 11, 3, 24. He still had 23 alive. And then 8 plus 8, 6. I think we actually figured it out. I feel a bit bad now for making fun of his size, but I think this might be it. He just doesn't know how the game works. Should I just make I'll make a basic guide on how Zerg units work for you, okay? Upcoming Monday or so. I'll just explain to you the evolutions and the transformations. We'll just go over all the units in the game, and then, what's his name? Yellow, pink. You do the same with Terran, you know? It's like, maybe he thinks that SCVs construct towers up from the ground, you know? They build 3 depots, and then the barracks, they land on top of the depot. He thinks barracks are really broken because they form the main core of the Thor. Such a powerful core, such a powerful core. I think we got it. I don't even want to say that he sucks. He just doesn't understand anything. You're just really dumb. And that's okay, because you can learn more. This is the beauty about being dumb, is that you can just gain more knowledge and you won't be dumb anymore. You can't ever unsuck. But yeah, I don't want to give this guy the sucks. I'm sure he made a lot of mistakes. He never scouted. His micro was god-awful. I mean, let's think back of that Immortal fight. He just blind counters his opponent's army, then still manages to lose to his opponent's army, even though he has the hard counter towards it. He's never in position. His harass never worked. I think he sent out 2 run-bys. None of them did any damage. So micro, macro, vision, unit comp was good, but accidentally, so still overall, okay, you suck, poof, but also you're very dumb. Poof, poof. Triple stamps. I'm gonna go back. I've been using this pen to dig a hole out of this cave. So I think by next week I might be able to escape out of this place, and we'll be back into my own little home studio, ideally. So hopefully, till then, guys, see you all next week, and bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. What the hell?